have a very eclectic panel today. We have well-known artist comes from a lineage of very well-known and great women and men from both sides of what is now an artificial man-made border. We have eminent author, columnist, writer from Lahore, Shehnaz Ajaruddin, and we have Rima Abbasi, journalist, author who is perhaps more well-known in my country, India. And of course we have the author, Achal. I must first thank Kera for giving me this opportunity of moderating a session on a book that is very dear to me, written by somebody who is also extremely dear to me, and being discussed by a dear friend and two women I have always been in great awe of. So the book that we are going to discuss today, as you know, is called Remnants of Separation, where I think it's a very fine blend of history, culture and anthropology. And Achal has tried to look at, take a second visit, take a second look at partition from a very soft angle, from the perspective of material objects that people have left behind and brought with them to the other side of the border. ईश्वर आपा बैठी हैं, एक 4 शेर सुना के मैं इसका आगाज करूँगा, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि मुनव्वर राना साहब ने ये 4 शेर शायद आखिर की किताब के लिए गए। उनकी एक बहुत तवील गजल है, जिसका नाम है मुहाजिर नामा। मुनव्वर राना। अच्छा जी। तो अम्मा के ऊपर मुहाजिर हैं हम, मगर एक दुनिया छोड़ आए हैं। मुहाजिर हैं हम, मगर एक दुनिया छोड़ आए हैं। तुम्हारे पास जितना है, हम उतना छोड़ आए हैं। अकीदत से कलेजे पर जो एक बच्ची, अकीदत से कलाई पर जो एक बच्ची ने बांधी थी, वो राखी छोड़ आए हैं, वो रिश्ता छोड़ आए हैं। हमारे लौट आने की दुआएं करता रहता है, हम अपनी छत पे जो चिड़ियों का जत्था छोड़ आए हैं। जनाबे मीर का दीवान तो हम साथ ले आए, मगर हम मीर के माथे का कशका छोड़ आए हैं। और कल एक अमरूद वाले से ये कहना पड़ गया हमको, कल एक अमरूद वाले से ये कहना पड़ गया हमको, जहां से आए हैं इसकी एक बगिया छोड़ आए हैं। और ये 2 कमरों का घर और ये सुलगती जिंदगी अपनी, वहां इतना बड़ा नौकर का कमरा छोड़ आए। हमें मरने से पहले सबको ये ताकीद करनी है, किसी को मत बता देना कि क्या क्या छोड़ा। So I must actually begin on that note, Achal, with asking you a question which would perhaps find very basic. It would be a kind of a question that a fresh journalism graduate would ask you. Pardon me for asking that question, but I think you must ask here, as you were born much after partition, you have your parents also born much after partition. So what was it that drove you towards partition and looking at partition from the perspective, from a very unique perspective, a very soft perspective, of objects, the material objects that you would have behind?
You know, when you are born in either India or Pakistan, you cannot separate yourself from partition. But it's also not something that you interact with on a daily basis. तो मैं स्कूल में भी पार्टीशन के बारे में सुना, ज़्यादा कुछ सोचा नहीं इसके बारे में। Even though all 4 of my grandparents were born in what is now Pakistan, मैंने कभी उनसे कुछ पूछा नहीं। It was only when in 2013 I encountered 2 objects, 2 चीज़ें जो यहाँ से लाहौर से अमृतसर आई थी। एक घड़ा था, उसमें लस्सी बनती थी, और एक गज था जिससे कपड़ा मेजर करते हैं। और वो जो घड़ा था वो मेरे नाना की अम्मी संडे को ना लस्सी बनाती थी, और जो गज थी वो उनके अब्बा अपनी क्लोथिंग स्टोर पे कपड़े मेजर करते थे। So one day it happened just by chance, I encountered these 2 objects और हमारे सामने रखे, and my nana was talking about it. हम बात कर रहे थे कि लाहौर से आई हैं, and something very strange happened, that an 80-year-old man was transported back to his childhood in Lahore as a young 5-10-year-old boy. हंस रहे थे, वो अनारकली के बारे में बता रहे थे, अंदरून शहर के बारे में बता रहे थे, जिससे कि ऐसे बनाती थी लस्सी, and ऐसे हम कपड़े जल्दी मेजर करते थे। And I had never seen objects transporting people to another time. Obviously, we collect things and we put memories into objects. But I had never seen such a physical manifestation of being transported to another time, an undivided time in history. And I started thinking to myself that if one person is affected by the two objects that his family carry, then surely other people also might have things and might feel the same for that home that they left behind. So 2013 में मैंने शुरू करी एक छोटी सी अपनी research दिल्ली में, and it expanded quite fast into other cities of India and then into Pakistan also. But the thing is that, you know, the object could have been from any time. It could have been from the Mughal time, it could have been from any time, but it was from partition. And I think using the object as catalyst, I started weaving a very interesting tapestry of memory, of ethnography, of landscape from a very uniquely third generational point of view. तो किताब चीज़ों के बारे में है, but it is also asking the question, why is partition relevant for third generation? Why should we still keep studying it? How can we be connected to a time and a place that we have not seen, atrocities that we have not seen? हम मिले कैसे, जुड़े कैसे उनके साथ? And how do we feel connected to the generation that lived through? So it's a book about many things, including objects that were carried across during the partition. Pakistan, India, on the eastern side of India, and of course it's also about home. The book is about home, a home that you build and a home that you left behind.
Read from the blurb, one paragraph of the blurb of the book that perhaps encapsulates the book in a couple of lines. It says, remnants of separation is a unique attempt to revisit the partition through such objects carried across the border. These objects absorb the memory of time and place, remaining latent and undisturbed for generations. They now speak of their owners' past that emerge as testaments to the struggle, sacrifice, pain and belonging at an unparalleled moment in history. So there's obviously no doubt about the fact that the events that occurred in 1947 were perhaps the most impactful events in South Asia. So, Nazafa, what is your first memory of partition? Did you also bring, do you have any object related to partition, a material object, Anand, Khasdan?
Where do you go?
बहुत सी चीज़ें हमारी इसलिए ऐसा हुआ कि हमारी माता जो थी उन्होंने क्या किया, हंसी आती है कि उन्होंने जाकर कलकत्ते में बहुत ऊँची से अच्छी के रूम में बहुत सी चीज़ें वैसे भी उठा के दी। तो हमारे घर में बहुत सी चीज़ें हैं जुड़े हुए हैं इस चीज़ों से। और ये भी है कि जैसे कहते हैं बहुत सारा से जिस किताब में भी है, आई डिड सफर पार्टीशन। मेरे अब्बा पहले आ गए थे अगस्त में, 11 अगस्त को, और उन्होंने मेरे भाई के साथ वहाँ फॉरेन ऑफिस नोएडा में बहुत हंसते थे। फ्रॉम टाइम मेमोरियल भी अफगान हमारे यहाँ पाकिस्तान को एक लंबी सी हिस्ट्री। मगर ये कि हम लोग तो 17 अगस्त या कुछ को हम यहाँ आए थे, और हम लोग पहले कलकत्ते में भी थे और दिल्ली से भी आए थे, मगर हम वो खास तकलीफ नहीं हुई। इस वजह से हम देख रहे थे किताब के क्या उनसे क्या पूछा जाए, तो हम ज़्यादा चीज़ें तो हमें याद नहीं, इस वजह से हमारे साथ कोई ट्रॉमा नहीं, सिर्फ इतना था जैसे कि पाकिस्तान के ज़माने में कुछ चीज़ें हो रही थी तकलीफें थी, तो हमें हमारी माँ कहने लगी फिर वो जाओगे यहाँ से कहीं हम कुछ गाइड्स होने वाले क्या करते थे। तो हाँ, हम लोग नहीं गए और हम रोने लगे कि हम नहीं यहाँ से छोड़ के जाएंगे, और होना भी नहीं हुआ इसलिए कि कुछ हुआ नहीं कर सकते। तो इतनी चीज़ें हमें ज़रूर याद हैं। किस्से बहुत सुनने में आते थे, किस्से बहुत सुनने में आते थे कि साहब उनके पूरा खानदान तबाह हो गया, खत्म हो गए, ये सब चीज़ें सुनने में, मगर ज़ाती तौर से हमें कोई इस किस्म की तकलीफ नहीं, और हम बहुत खुशकिस्मत हैं कि हमारे साथ ऐसा हुआ नहीं। बस फिर और And I like the paragraph which begins, ask me quickly. ये हमारी एक जेठानी थी, उससे मैं कुछ चीज़ें पूछी थी कि जल्दी जल्दी पूछूँ, मैं नहीं तो भूल जाऊँ. तो इसलिए काफ़ी लोगों का है, जो पुराने लोग हैं वो कहते हैं जल्दी जल्दी पूछ लो, नहीं तो कहते कहते भी वो लोग भूल जाते हैं. अच्छा, फिर उसमें मैंने देखा है पेज 219. All the history is not history to me. Even though I never suffered personally, I remember well being in a state of anticipation, understanding that the second world was some things that we were going to have to go through, and we were quite sad to have to leave. I remember 4 songs that we used to sing as children, and I'm sure that a lot of people who are our age would remember. There was, things like that is mentioned in this and other songs like that. We all learned and those actually, when you hear them, it makes you back. When a star. So anyway, फिर जब मैं ट्रेन में जाती हूँ तो मुझे जब चीज़ें नज़र आती हैं ना, आप जा रहे हैं और आपको सीधे, तो उस वक्त आपको बहुत सी चीज़ें याद आ जाती हैं, क्योंकि हम लोग ट्रेन से दिल्ली से नागपुर जाया करते थे, और वो मुझे याद है कि लोग जो रुक के हमको चीज़ें देते थे, कुछ बहुत मज़े मज़े की मट्टी की चीज़ें भी बिकती थी, बर्तन और ये सब चीज़ें, वो सब चीज़ें अब हमने ठीक से रखी नहीं, जिससे अफसोस है मुझे कि कितने अच्छा वक्त था वो इन सब चीज़ों के लिए ना. हमने, जैसे मैंने कहा, देखा नहीं जो ख़राब चीज़ें थी, बट हमारे माँ बाप ने हमें बचा के रखा. अब्बा तो यहाँ आ गए थे मेरे भाई के साथ, मगर हम लोग भी ठीक ही रहे. मुझे याद है हम रंगोली में इस समय तो रंगोली में खड़े हुए थे, ऐसे ही जैसे बच्चे होते हैं कुछ खेल रहे थे, तो हमारे भाई के मास्टर साहब जो सिख थे, उन्होंने आके नौकरों को डांटा कि बच्चों को बाहर मत जाने दो. तो हमने समझा कि कुछ बात है, मगर उन्होंने कहा इन लोगों को बाहर मत खेलने दो, गलत बात है, बहुत डांटा कि बच्चों को, कि उनको ख्याल था कि शायद अफवाह कर ले कोई ऐसी किस्म की चीज़ें. तो ये मैं आपको सिर्फ बताना.
आपने ट्रेन मेंशन करी. आई वांट टू रीड अ शॉर्ट 2 or 3 lines about trains, but it's very interesting. So it's for those of you who have the book, it's on page 14, and this woman writes, she's coming from Jhelum to Delhi, and she writes, every time the train stopped at a station, we would all hold our breaths, making sure not a single sound drifted out of the closed window. We were hungry and our throats parched. From inside the train, we heard voices traveling up and down the platform saying, Hindu Pani, and from the other side, Muslim Pani. Apart from land and population, even the water had now been divided.
Yeah, that's a very evocative passage. I just want to ask Shahnaz Sahib on this. कि एक तो जैसे आपने फरमाया अभी कि मैं 9 या 10 साल की थी जब पार्टीशन हुआ, तो ज़्यादातर चीज़ें तो ठीक है, कुछ तो याद है, मेमोरी ऐसे बच्चों की होती है, ज़्यादातर चीज़ें वो हैं जो आपने सुनी औरों से. तो this whole concept of this whole tradition of hearsay history, will you take these memories on their face value? क्योंकि मेमोरी जो होती है तो जाहिर है कि कोई बहुत पुख्ता तो होती नहीं है चीज़. हर हो सकता है कि एक ही इंसिडेंट आपको जो है अलग अलग लोग अलग अलग तरह से बताएं. जी आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ मैं.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम. पहले तो मैं सिर्फ इस बच्ची को मुबारकबाद देना चाहती हूँ. शी इज़ बीन, वी आर ऑल वेरी प्राउड ऑफ हर. शी इज़ वर्क सो हार्ड ऑन दिस प्रोजेक्ट एंड इट्स सच एन अमेजिंग book for someone so young. And
बहुत खफा होती हैं अक्सर हिंदुस्तान में जब कहा जाता है कि बच्ची यंग हैं तो बहुत खफा हो जाती हैं. लेकिन यहाँ मेरे ख्याल से वो तहजीब के दायरे में रहते हुए खफा नहीं हो रही.
नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं. I think it's a wonderful achievement and she has to be very proud of it, as we all are. And the other thing that occurred to me when she was talking was that, in Harry Potter, wizards use ordinary objects which are imbued with magic to transport them to another place. And in fact, she's used these ordinary objects to transport her back to another time. And I think the analogy just struck me. But about oral narratives, what I'd like to say is कि सबसे हमारे लिए जो बेहतरीन oral narrative है वो तो कुरान है, तो वो उसी तरह हमारे पास आया क्योंकि वो orally लोगों को एक tradition थी कि वो चीज़ें याद करते थे। तो कुरान के अलावा ये जो दास्तानें हैं ये तो खैर बहुत बढ़ा चढ़ा कर लिखी गई, मगर ओरल नैरेटिव के बिना पर बहुत सारी और चीज़ें हुई हैं। Schliemann discovered Troy because of an oral narrative that eventually Homer wrote. So I have great respect for oral narratives. But you know, there was a few days ago, because Aanchal is on Facebook with me, and she'd uploaded this thing that she'd written somewhere about one of the chapters in this book is about a person in Lahore called Sitara Fayaz Ali. And she remembered her house in Dalhousie and her father's house in Dalhousie, which had just been built 2 seasons before. They spent 2 seasons in it, and it had green shutters. And Aanchal, of course, one of the things in this book is it's been written so sensitively, so perceptively. And she'd written about that, and that story stuck with me. And then in her, the later article that she wrote about it, she wrote about how she went to that particular house, met its occupants. And I think I'd like to her to talk a little about that.
I also want to talk about oral narratives a little bit.
Yes, I was going to ask.
So, with partition, of course, there is a lot of archival history available for us, official history. But official history doesn't always encompass everyone because it's written by a particular government for a particular period in time. At some point, especially with narratives of partition, we have to trust people's memory. Memory is inherently unreliable. But I think this is how people remember certain things. This is how they want to remember certain things. Collective memory becomes personal memory very fast. कि मुझे बहुत बार होता है कि अगर many people have come from the same place, they will always remember the journey differently, depending on how old they are, depending on what their status was, what they brought. So I think at some point we have to take these things at face value. हम बात कर रहे थे उस दिन taking them at face value, because this is how people remembered, and this is memory, and you have to take it as face value. What we can do, and what I've tried to do in the book, is to maybe complement it with academic research. तो अगर किसी ने मुझे कहा कि in the year 1930 मैं 4 साल का था, I was standing at the banks of river Ravi and I saw Pandit Nehru say Poon Swaraj. Well, that is an easy thing that we can find an archival reference for, and that's what I've tried to do. So the book is a blend of oral history, which is people's memories, and also academic history, because they cannot exist separately from one another. अब ये डलहौजी की बात है तो इट्स अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल स्टोरी एक्चुअली. 4 साल पहले जब मैं लाहौर में थी, आई इंटरव्यूड अ वुमन कॉल्ड सितारा फयाज अली. उन्होंने मुझे अपने घर बुलाया बिकॉज शी वांटेड टू शो मी सम कश्मीरी यूटेंसिल्स, बहुत ब्यूटीफुल छोटे छोटे हैंड कार्व्ड कश्मीरी यूटेंसिल्स. पर जब मैं उनके घर गई, शी रियली डिडंट वांट टू टॉक अबाउट दोज यूटेंसिल्स. शी ओनली वांटेड टू टॉक अबाउट अ हाउस इन डलहौजी. सो शी सैट मी डाउन, मतलब यूटेंसिल तो उन्होंने साइड पे रख दिए, बर्तन. And she sat me down and said, ये हमारा घर था डलहौजी में. Her father was मियाँ अफजल हुसैन, जो पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी के फर्स्ट इंडियन वाइस चांसलर थे. And he, in the year 1932, bought a plot of land in Dalhousie to build a house. And so she's telling me, तस्वीर दिखा के कि there was this house, it had green shutters. हम वहाँ सिर्फ 2-3 साल रहे. समर में जाते थे डलहौजी. It was a hill station like Murree. एंड शी इज़ टेलिंग मी एंड शी इज़ रेमिनिसिंग कि घर बहुत याद है, घर बहुत याद है. और मैंने उनसे पूछा कि अब घर में कौन रहता है. एंड शी सेड मैंने सुना है कि 2 भाई रहते हैं. फिर बात ख़त्म हो गई. फिर मैं दिल्ली वापस आ गई, मैंने किताब लिखी और आई रियली डिडंट थिंक अबाउट इट. किताब निकलने के 2 महीने बाद अ सिख जेंटलमैन कॉन्टैक्टेड मी एंड सेड ये जो तुमने किताब लिखी है, इसमें जो चैप्टर 17 है, डलहौजी में जो घर है कहकशां. The house is called Kehkashan, which means galaxy. And this woman's name is Sitara and her sister's name is Surya. No? And so this gentleman is telling me, ये कह किशां के बारे में जो आपने कहानी लिखी है, that's my house. I got that house as a claim after partition. And when he tells me, मुझे तो रोना आ गया, I called Mrs. Ali in Lahore and I said, आपका घर मिल गया, जो वहाँ रहते हैं वो मिल गए, 70 साल बाद आपका मुझे घर मिल गया. And she very sweetly said कि शायद वो हमें कोई तस्वीरें भेजें. But I wasn't going to be satisfied with those photographs, so I invited myself to that house. मैं Dalhousie गई, and you know, it was so strange because I had archived the history of this house from a Pakistani perspective, from people who had left that house in 47. And now I was hearing the story from the Indian family who inherited that house. And it's amazing that they both have such deep connections to the house. Ghar kaisa tha? The house Kehkishan. It was built as a galaxy. The main bedroom is a round bedroom, like built like an observatory. It has, every ceiling has stars carved into it. It's a beautiful house. But then I saw all the original documents in the municipal office. मियाँ अफजल हुसैन ने जो चिट्ठियाँ लिखी थी, जो खत लिखे थे उनके बारे में कि I want to build this house, and he wrote copious letters. Building a house in the hills is very difficult. And so I felt so connected to another person's history. And I asked myself, why are you fighting for someone else's history right now? And you know, अगले दिन on Skype, I showed Mrs. Ali her house. And unne kuch nahi kaha. She said nothing, but the smile, it was worth it. She was so happy. 70 years later, she saw her house and it was the same. They hadn't changed anything. वो जो plaque है, एक enamel का plaque था जिस पे लिखा था M. Afzal Hussain. वो अभी भी लगा हुआ है. And you know, the best thing was, and this is where I realized that there are ways to transcend this border between us. There are ways. और ऐसी चीज़ें, these are the things that will pave that way. The Indian family is talking on Skype to this Pakistani family और वो कह रहे हैं अगले समर आप यहाँ आएँ ताकि हम अपने घर में एक साथ रहें. And I'm thinking this is not an Indian family talking to a Pakistani family. It is a family that shares the history of a house. Yes. You know, and literature has the ability to transcend that boundary, to exist in both Indian and Pakistani hearts the same way. You know, so it कहते थे पहले when Urvashi Butalia started her work on partition कि आपके जो oral narrative हैं ये कुछ नहीं करेंगे, यहाँ का भी वहाँ का भी कुछ नहीं, पर ये जो इस साइड और उस साइड के बीच की जो no man's land में चीज़ें फंसी हुई हैं, ये जो feelings फंसी हुई हैं, these emotions, these things, these objects, these जो हम कभी बात नहीं करते, these are the things that will bridge the gap. And what I hope is that this book encompasses those things.
रीमा आप भी कुछ
Salam, and I'd just like to really congratulate Aanchal on a beautiful book, because what really grabbed me about this book is that it's the emotional geography and history through association with belongings, you know, and that is something that one has heard all one's life. You know, most of my maternal wonderful families in Aligarh, which she mentions, you know, the bit on Aligarh here. And I've heard it so often, and so many objects that connect one person to, you know, an entire era. It's a book also about senses, and that's where real, you know, memory and pain is locked. You know, whether it's, I mean, she speaks of taste, you know, of touch, of smell. And that's exactly how we kind of hold on to, you know, whether it's the past or whether it is associations that have left us. And she unlocks the pain through these, you know, through this kind of imagery with so much lyricism and such sensitivity. It's really remarkable. So Aanchal, it's really, I mean, like reading so many minds. It's really wonderful.
Thank you. Aanchal, I wanted to ask you this. So what kind of difficulties did you face in
you know, making these old people open up to the idea of opening up to you? Because, you know, there are all kinds of limitations. These are all very intimate, personal memories. Then, of course, you are talking to people who are perhaps older than your grandparents. So how difficult was this?
I think the first thing we have to understand is we are asking someone to tell us something of great vulnerability. कभी कभी ऐसा लग रहा था कि ये जो चीज़ें मैं सुन रही हूँ पहले किसी ने कभी नहीं कही. And so we have to appreciate that for one. I always think of it, because I'm a visual person, I think of it as a plateau. If you're asking someone to reach here for you, you also have to reach there for them. So there are certain things that you need to do to make them comfortable. या वो 2 घंटे उनसे चाय पानी के बारे में बात करना, उनके बच्चों के बारे में बात करना. Listening, I think listening is the key for this. And yeah, I spent time with people that were older than my grandparents. You know, they are decades and decades older. And कभी-कभी बहुत अजीब लग रहा था that I was asking them things that were causing them pain. Who am I to ask the question? Why am I asking the question? I know I'm causing this person pain, but I also know that this information is vital for my generation. We are not only crossing the border of India-Pakistan, we are crossing the border of age, we are crossing the border of caste, we are crossing the border of sensibility, past, history. And I was very aware of all that, and I tried my best not to take it for granted. The difficulty is that memory is not chronological. कि कभी-कभी आपको चीज़ें immediately याद नहीं रहती. You need triggers to remember them. You need to talk about wo senses. You need to talk about what did Chittagong smell like? What did Mandi Bahauddin look like? My grandfather's from Mandi Bahauddin. और क्या बताते हैं? इन्ने बड़े-बड़े केले. And I'm thinking that's impossible. Come on. वो आम, वो बगीचा. And then the object is a catalyst to extract memory. अब हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं तो मैं ये नहीं कह सकती आपने तकसीम देखी, बंटवारा देखा, कैसा था मुझे बताएं. But if I say, अच्छा this earring came from across the border and your mother brought it. What was your mother like? उनका नाम क्या था? वो कैसी लगती थी? तस्वीर है. आपका घर कैसा था? वहाँ पे किचन कैसा था? कहाँ से आया आप? अच्छा बॉर्डर के बारे में कब सुना? पार्टीशन वर्ड कब सुना? You know, the object is a gentle way to ease into something that might be otherwise quite traumatic to begin. And how do you begin that conversation? You know, there are so many, आपने कहा था, ask me quickly before I forget. My grandmother said that. Because उनको actually लगा था, I'm at that age now, I have this memory inside me, अगर मैं किसी को बताऊंगी नहीं, वो मेरे साथ चली जाएगी.
मेरी भाभी ने कहा था ना मुझसे.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there were many difficulties, and I also felt very guilty. I felt guilty for many things. एक तो you're asking people the question that will make them upset, and you know it. But the other thing is you're asking them about something that is also a little bit frivolous, things. Because not everyone could bring things. And you're asking them about these, now I say frivolous things, but
so are they frivolous?
They are not. I mean, at one point, of course, they are frivolous because they are things and people are fighting for their lives and they're running away from fires and all these things. But at the other hand, these are things that map social ethnography.
It's what they represent.
Yeah.
And this is how people lived. हम बर्तन देख के बताते हैं कि बर्तन पे कलाई हुई थी, कलाई इस ज़माने से इस ज़माने पे हुई. You know how old this thing is. And of course, we are an ancient civilization. We are archaeologists. Every day, we are archiving something or the other. We are excavating further. So why should an object be any different? But the difficulty was immense, of course.
Nazaf, aap kuch
I
keh
just wanted to mention that there was this film Garm Hawa, which we all saw, and everybody of a certain age sobbed throughout the movie. And when it was finished, we all felt enormously upset because it reminded us of what this thing. It was a very, very beautiful movie, and I think it should be seen many times because it goes back to that time.
I also wanted to ask you, आप लोगों में से जो चाहें दोनों में से, मैं ये जानना चाह रहा था, अभी हम लोग वहाँ ऑथर्स लाउंज में बैठे थे तो शीला रेड्डी हमारे साथ हिंदुस्तान से आई. She wrote this wonderful book on Mr. and Mrs. Jinnah. She was saying that I think women hold on to material objects much more dearly and much more emotionally. They are more emotionally involved than men. Do you think that is true?
Well, I'm a woman, so how would I know about men?
No, I think it is true.
Yes.
But I think they also hold on to painful memories. Much more than
so.
men do, because I think one of the reasons people wanted to forget their past lives was because it was impossible for them to move on if they reminded them, if they were constantly reminded of that.
Right.
So what they brought, and from Aanchal's book it's quite obvious, was something that gave them immense joy, like the shawl that this one character brought, well, she was wearing it. And it's a wonderful story about that shawl, and lots of other things. But I think you have made a very valid point, or Sheila did,
yes,
about women, because वो यानी घर चलते वक्त यानी खड़ा लेना तो एक औरत ही करेगी.
But I think it's I would agree and disagree both, because किताब में ना ऐसी काफ़ी कहानियाँ that men brought very specific things. I think it's interesting. Women brought things for the house. More concerned with how to feed the family.
Yeah.
बर्तन लाए थे, jewelry that we can sell. Things of utility. The stories of men are very interesting because you require incredible penetration into the subconscious mind. एक बहुत मज़ेदार कहानी है अलीगढ़ के बारे में, where I'm interviewing a man in Lahore जो AMU से आए थे, अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी, और मैंने उनको ऐसे ही पूछा कि अलीगढ़ कैसा दिखता है मुझे बताएं. And very excitedly he got up and he got these 3 dusty big photographs from the hockey club of Aligarh, and he goes, ऐसा दिखता है, मैं ये लाया था. And he was so excited to show me. And then I think the other thing with objects is that because people wanted to forget the memories that they brought with them or something that was very painful, even the object kind of got concealed within the years. So many objects are very mundane. What is so special about a कढ़ाई? जो कढ़ाई वहाँ से आई थी. बट अगर वो कढ़ाई वही कढ़ाई है जिसमें आपने कैंप में 2 साल दाल बनाई, then that's a very important thing. या वो शॉल है जो आप क्वेटा से दिल्ली पहन के आए while you are walking across the border. Well, that's a very important thing as well. But because these things were so mundane, लोगों की किताबें, pens, books, jewelry, little hairpins, juda sticks, because they are so small and mundane, people don't give them the importance that they deserved.
I will actually come back to the book after a short question. I want to ask Reema. You've always also been working on minority heritage. You've written this beautiful book on the Hindu temples of Pakistan. तो ये बताइए कि ये कितना ज़रूरी है हमारी जो अब जनरेशन है, इसके बाद जो जनरेशन है, उसको पार्टीशन के बारे में जानना, अपने एंसेस्टर्स के बारे में, या उस वक्त क्या हुआ था, या किस किस्म की चीज़ें जो हैं वो लेके आए थे, कैसी मोहब्बतें हैं लोगों को उनसे. How important it is to this whole, this whole, if I may say, the practice of memorializing and remembering things from the past.
It's imperative given the times that we are living in on both sides, because जो history हम पढ़ाते हैं अब वो it's fiction. Half of it is erased. The truth is erased, and it's convenient now. The Pakistan studies that it's called now. It's just convenient truths that are being disseminated. However, the uncomfortable truths are, I'm glad that somebody like Aanchal and a lot of people like in Bangladesh have chronicled, and so in our times, for the future generations to know what exactly, as she puts it in her book, mental displacement was all about, what restructuring your individual identities and collective identities, and how painful and how fraught that was. I think it is just the time to do this kind of a book.
So, since we have just a couple of minutes, I just want to ask the last question to all the panelists. Aanchal, you have 19 stories in the book on various things. There are utensils, there's jewelry, there's clothes, and even poems and photographs. So I would like to ask each one of you, what is your most favorite story, and which is the story that struck you the most? And we'll end with Aanchal.
I think that's extremely difficult for me, because actually I love the book, but I didn't write this as my favorite. I mean, I didn't.
So right now being asked like this, and I'm very bad at that sort of thing, but while you were, since you put me in a spot, I just wanted to mention that Aligarh Muslim University had an extraordinary effect on people who live here. My daughter went to Aligarh to study in school, not Aligarh Muslim. And the amount of elderly people who came up and wanted to just talk to her, kaisa hai, kya tha, अच्छा अलीगढ़ में पढ़ी, and they couldn't get over. People said क्यों भेजा? हमने कहा उर्दू सीखने, क्योंकि अगर वो यहाँ रहती तो वो ग्रामर स्कूल में जाती और उसको उर्दू नहीं आती और आमना कहती हाउ कम आई एम बीइंग सेंट टू एन उर्दू मीडियम स्कूल, तो इसलिए हमने उनको वहाँ भेजा, जिसकी वजह से अंग्रेज़ी मीडियम थी मगर वो उर्दू से बच नहीं सकी. तो मैं आपको कह रही हूँ कि बहुत से लोगों में इस कदर ज़ख़ीरा है. इस बच्ची शी जस्ट टच द टिप ऑफ द आइसबर्ग. आई एम श्योर अगर ये ज़्यादा करेगी और ना तो इसकी 3-4 किताबें और निकलेंगी, है ना. हाँ, आई एम श्योर. आई कंग्रेचुलेट यू ऑन दैट. बहुत ज़ख़ीरा.
Well, the stories that touched me most was the beginning one, the one that triggered off this whole search and this quest of Aanchal's, which was the Ghada and the Gaz.
And that's a story about people that actually stayed in Delhi, they didn't travel, and that's an important thing, that people had to survive the time where they were.
And the other one was, of course, Sitara Imtiaz Fayaz Ali, because that had a kind of ending. There was a conclusion to it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that was very satisfying.
And Reema, quickly, can you also tell us what story struck you the most before we come to Aanchal?
Again, Aligarh, because I've been to, I've been going there since I was 2 and my maternal family lives there. Aanchal speaks of what's very poignant is a physical scar, which is also that object and belonging, and it unlocks pain and nostalgia and crosses borders. So that's a very important point she made.
So, of course, for an author, all stories are obviously.
एक मिनट सर, तुम्हारी फेवरेट कौन सी है?
ये तो हम दिल्ली जाके बताएंगे आपको.
It's
actually about the poems that the lady, the romantic poet, you know, the lady. That is my favorite story.
There's a story. The one that he's talking about is a story of how a poet from Lahore wrote to a soldier in Baghdad through a military gazette. And they wrote poems to each other and they eventually ended up getting married.
Yes. Yeah. So which is your favorite story? Which is the one that has sort of stayed with you?
कुछ बताऊं उस कहानी के बारे में? My favorite story is chapter 10. It has no object. It has no object at all, and उस कहानी ने मुझे बहुत सारी चीज़ें सिखाई. It is about a man called Nazmuddin Khan, and he's in Delhi. He's a Muslim in Delhi, and his family refused to leave at the time of partition. उनके अब्बा जो थे वाइसरॉय हाउस में काम करते थे एज अ सिक्योरिटी गार्ड, एंड उनको कहा था कि आप कायदे आज़म के गार्ड में चले जाइए पाकिस्तान जब बनेगा. एंड ही सेड कि जब सारे मुसलमान चले जाएंगे इंडिया से मैं भी चला जाऊँगा. बट ही नेवर एंडेड अप गोइंग. Now I went to see Mr. Khan with the hope that he would show me some security badge, some शायद वो जिन्ना की तस्वीर, कोई newspaper or something from Viceroy House, something. And he had nothing. उनके पास कुछ नहीं था. But what he taught me was something much bigger. उनने मुझसे पूछा कि आप हिंदू हैं कि मुसलमान, और मैंने कहा मैं हिंदू हूँ. And he said कि आप मुझे बताएं हिंदुस्तान में क्यों लोग कहते हैं that Muslims don't belong here. And I said that I don't feel that, but बताएं आप ऐसे क्यों कह रहे हैं. And he said that let me tell you something. A Hindu person is born in India, they live here, they work, they die, then you cremate them and their ashes, you immerse them in the Ganga, and wherever the Ganga goes, even if it's outside of India, the ashes go there. Muslim person is born in India, they live, they work, they die, then you bury them in the ground and eventually their body decomposes and becomes the soil. वो हिंदुस्तान बन जाते हैं. जिस मिट्टी पे आप अभी चल रहे हैं मुसलमान वो बन जाते हैं. How can you say that such a person doesn't belong in this country? And when I heard him say that, वो मुझे कुछ ज्ञान नहीं दे रहे थे, वो he was actually talking of a very beautiful secular notion of India that he had in his mind. And I thought to myself, I feel so small right now because I'm asking him about these things and he is giving me knowledge, you know. So, and it is one of my favorite stories for sure, because I learnt I learned how to eradicate my own prejudice, if I had any before. I learned how to dissipate it completely.
So thank you very much, Aanchal. I've been told that though we started late, we must end on time. And therefore, we'll have to skip the question and answer session. That's what I've been told. So thank you very much, all the panelists. Thank you, everybody, for coming here. We hope that such stories and more would bring our hearts closer. तुम आओ गुलशने लाहौर से चमन बरदोश, हम जाएं सुबह बनारस की रोशनी लेकर और उसके बाद ये पूछें कि कौन दुश्मन है. Thank you very much.